Welcome back to News Around, the channel where every whisper in the world of celebrity transforms into a story worth unraveling. Before we dive into today's extraordinary development, don't forget to subscribe, tap that join button to support our growing community, and leave a like so you never miss another deep dive into the mysteries behind the stars. Now, prepare yourselves, because tonight's story is one of the most delicately explosive moments the Turkish entertainment world has seen in months. For nearly a decade, Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu have been at the center of a fascination that refuses to die down. Ever since their performances collided on that unforgettable romantic drama, a series that changed not just their careers but the entire landscape of television chemistry, fans have been unable to look away from the invisible thread tying them together. Their public stance remained unwavering: mutual respect, artistic harmony, cherished friendship. Yet their interactions, quiet and scarce, have carried a warmth that no official statement has been able to overshadow. And last night, that unspoken warmth surfaced again, not through a public appearance, not through a slip of the tongue, but through a photograph subtle enough to be dismissed at first glance, and bold enough to ignite a digital wildfire within minutes. Sometime past midnight, when most of the city's lights had dimmed and the noise of the day had finally settled into silence, Elçin Sangu uploaded a single photograph to her Instagram feed. No caption. No explanation. Just an image anchored by stillness yet pulsing with implication. On a marble-topped table, smooth, pale, elegant, rested a bouquet of white orchids arranged with meticulous precision. They weren't the kind of flowers wrapped hurriedly at a street stall or delivered out of seasonal convenience. These orchids were sculpted, curated, choreographed into place by someone who understood the language of detail. Their petals shimmered under a golden lamp, soft as moonlit porcelain, cascading in deliberate tears. The stems were bound not with glossy commercial ribbon but with a muted silk tie that whispered rather than shouted. The entire scene felt intimate, as if the bouquet wasn't meant to be displayed, but preserved. And nestled among those luminous blossoms sat a card, small, ivory, almost timid in appearance, but seismic in consequence. On that card, handwritten with slow confidence, were 5 words. "We look beautiful together, B.A. No hashtags. No emojis. No hints. Just the kind of message that expects the recipient to understand without context, and the public to stay guessing." Of course, the public did far more than guess. Within minutes, screenshots flooded comment sections. Fans zoomed into the image with forensic dedication, enlarging the card until the initials gleamed like a revelation. BA, 2 letters that have been at the heart of 1,000 theories and 10,000 fan edits. 2 letters that held the power to turn the calmest night into a storm of speculation. And oh, what a storm it became. The early comments seemed almost breathless, as though users were typing faster than their minds could process the implication. Is this what I think it is? Those initials aren't accidental. Just admit it already, we've known for years. Within the hour, fan pages across platforms had stitched the orchid image into montages with clips from their iconic series, pairing the bouquet with slow-motion scenes of stolen glances, shared laughter, and the kind of chemistry that refuses to stay fictional. As the frenzy grew, whispers from backstage corners of the internet began adding fuel. A florist's assistant, speaking under anonymity to a small gossip page, claimed that the order had been placed earlier in the week with exact instructions. The orchids must be white, untouched by pink or cream, the stems must be wrapped in pale silk rather than velvet, the card must be tucked into the second tier of blossoms, not the top. The sender allegedly insisted that the arrangement appear calm, elegant, and intimate, not performative. And the delivery address, the assistant said, matched the apartment reflected subtly in the photo's vase. Whether the leak was genuine or merely opportunistic, it strengthened the narrative with astonishing speed. Suddenly, the entire internet was holding its breath. Fans who have followed Barış and Elçin long enough know that this kind of gesture, quiet, deliberate, profoundly personal, aligns perfectly with the persona Barış maintains behind the scenes. Those who've worked with him describe him as a man who expresses affection through gestures rather than words, someone who would choose orchids over roses because roses are too predictable, too loud, too public. Orchids, on the other hand, are a symbol of serenity, the kind of gift you choose when you want the moment to linger. And according to whispers drifting near Elçin's circle, she hasn't had the easiest weeks. The demands of her projects. Long filming nights, script reshuffles, non-stop press appearances have taken their toll. The exhaustion had been noticed, quietly, by those close to her. Which explains why, if the rumors are true, the gesture struck her deeply. There was nothing grandiose, nothing performative. The bouquet felt like a hand on the shoulder, a whisper saying, "Breathe. I'm here." Still, in a fashion characteristic of him, Barış remained silent. No comment. No denial. No clarifying posts. It was as if he placed the note into the flowers and then stepped back into the shadows, letting the moment speak for itself. That silence, paradoxically, made the moment louder. As hashtags surged into the trending lists, "We look beautiful together" in English, and its Turkish counterpart "Biz Birlikte Güzeliz" rising right alongside it, old interviews resurfaced. Fans revisited those moments where Barış and Elçin spoke with the ease of two people who understood each other without translation. Viewers replayed scenes from behind the camera, where they moved around each other like two parts of a choreography they never rehearsed but always knew. The internet, hungry for meaning, found plenty of breadcrumbs. Even Paris resurfaced. That old rumor from months ago, claiming they had been spotted wandering through the Marais district, hiding behind sunglasses that concealed everything except the unmistakable softness of their laughter. At the time, the sighting had been dismissed as coincidence, two actors in a city where filmmakers often gather. Yet now, stitched into the same timeline as the mysterious orchids, it felt less like coincidence and more like history leaving clues. What makes this moment particularly compelling is not its grandeur but its subtlety. The lighting in the photo, warm, soft, intimate, suggests someone who wanted the memory to be beautiful. The phrasing on the card, not flattering, not teasing, but collective, focusing on "we instead of you," carried the weight of partnership more than flirtation. It wasn't a confession. Yet it wasn't not a confession. It existed in that delicate territory between truth spoken aloud and truth whispered in the spaces between. And perhaps that's why fans cannot let it go. Is this a beginning? A return? A continuation of something that never truly ended? Maybe the real question is whether relationships like theirs ever follow the paths people expect. Maybe some connections don't begin or end, they shift, evolve, reappear like tidewater reclaiming familiar shorelines. As fans continue to create edits, write essays, and analyze every pixel of the orchid photo, the narrative grows richer. People aren't clinging to fantasy, they're clinging to possibility, to the idea that a bond built through artistry could bloom, quietly, into something more tender. Whatever happens next, whether it's a future sighting, an unplanned moment caught by a lens, or another cryptic message woven into the petals of another flower, one thing is certain. Last night belonged to the orchids, to the initials, to the quiet gestures that speak louder than headlines, to the idea that beauty shared between two people is a language of its own. Thank you for watching News Around, where every detail matters and every story becomes an unfolding journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment with your thoughts, and tap the join button if you'd love to support us further. And tell us, what do you think this message truly meant? Do you believe this was merely friendship, or the beginning of something more? Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and stay with news around.